Well, hi there, I'm Dr. Tom Ulrich, and I like to talk about leadership and engineering. Hey, in this video, I would like to talk a little bit about micromanaging. Are you a micromanager? Well, on the topic of micromanagers, I have five basic ideas. The first one is, um, being a micromanager, the idea that that's a good thing, that arises from a misunderstanding of your role as manager. See, as a manager, your role is to help people do the work. Now, remember this video, we're talking about engineers, right? Engineers are by definition knowledge workers. See, thinking is part of the deal. And the problem with micromanaging is fundamentally what you're doing is you're trying to do all the thinking and you're trying to turn them into a robot. See, when you micromanage an engineer, you're preventing them from doing their work. See, micromanaging prevents people from doing their work. It is the opposite of what your job is. Your job is to enable them to do the work, but when you micromanage them, you prevent them from doing their work. So let me put that another way. If you're micromanaging engineers, you're failing. You're a bad engineering manager. Okay, you need to have a complete change of mind frame is that micromanaging knowledge workers is a catastrophe. Why is that? Okay, well, my second point is, what's the problem with micromanaging in addition to the first point, which was, it's the opposite of what you should be doing, is micromanaging works against the employee's internal motivation. See, the idea of all the modern leadership paradigms really boils down to this. You get higher productivity, you get better results, you better on-time performance. I mean, just about everything you can measure is better if you can create internal motivation in the employee. And what does that mean? It means they work at a place where they do things because they want to rather than because they have to. So Dan Pink calls this, I think he calls it motivation 2.0. It's internal versus external motivation. There's in followership theory, this would be called engagement. And the idea is employees who kind of just fully engage, and you know what that means. So when you micromanage, you destroy internal motivation. And let me put that another way. As a manager of engineers, when you micromanage, you cut your own legs off. You prevent yourself from succeeding as a manager. All right, third thought on micromanaging is, I think really when you get down to it, in most cases, uh, being a micromanager reflects a very arrogant assumption. It pretty much reflects the idea that only you can do it, or only you can do it as well as you, or you're going to be better at it, and all these sort of things. Like only you can do the job. Hey, I have news for you. You may think you're indispensable at your work, and let's say you get mad and quit. A month later, someone have filled your position. People may even be wondering like what did he even do around here? And the truth is, if you're a micromanager, not only will they get along fine without you, they'll be like probably better. I mean, I'm telling you, being a micromanager is a disaster. So, the problem is it's arrogant to think that you're the only one to do it. Here's what it is. People will surprise you. Now, I did a video on Theory X and Theory Y, and the whole idea there was what we know about humans is they will either rise or fall to your expectations. And if you have this belief that people won't do it as well as you do, the truth is you're sort of helping them not do it as well. That whole thing feeds, it's closed loop, it feeds back, and you're actually part of the problem. By the way, if you think everybody's bad at their job except for you, I have bad news for you. Like it may be that, okay, out of 50 people, 2 people are bad. Yeah, that's believable. If you're thinking like they're all bad, I mean, that's so statistically unlikely that I think we can say safely it's you, not them. Okay, my third comment on micromanaging is, things may actually take longer, but only at first. I'll tell you, when my son Tim was, I don't know, maybe 8 years old, I was mowing the lawn one day, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, can I help you?" And my first reaction was, ugh, this is going to really slow things down. And the truth is, I could mow the lawn in 15 minutes, and then Tim wanted to be involved, and he's, always just always been a great kid, now he's grown up and engineer and all that, but, really wanting to help. But what I knew is, by letting him help, my 15-minute task became a 1-hour task. Okay, but I taught him how to mow the lawn, and then a week or so later, I started to mow the lawn. He's like, hey, Dad, can I help you? Okay, fine. And it took about 30 minutes. And the third week, he came out. He said, can you help me? And I said, well, do you want to do it? And he got all proud and happy, and yes. So from the time he was 8 to the time he moved off to college, when he was 18, I never mowed the lawn again. See, yeah, it will take longer at first, but you lean into it, you train, and that's one less thing for you to do as a manager. And what I did have to do is I did have to train him. I had to explain him what we're looking for, what the criteria is, and one thing he did is he kind of wanted to go over the same part of the grass, just the same, no, what you do is you move, you kind of move to the left or the right each time, so you're mowing new parts of the lawn. But I had to do it. It took a little bit of time, but the truth is, after a while, the lawn looked better when he did it than when I did. I mean, he completely surprised me. He was better at it than me. I didn't have to spend any time, and it was really wonderful. Now, that leads into my fifth point, which is, okay, I admit, if you don't micromanage, that actually puts an extra burden on you. What burden does it put? It puts the requirement that you communicate clearly. And remember my story with Tim, I was saying that, well, I had to explain, this is what you're looking for, this is a criteria. Yeah, you will have to explain what the criteria is. Now, micromanaging would be telling him, every step, push this key, do that, turn this lever. What I'm talking about is explaining the criteria, the way we evaluate how we succeed. And that is much more difficult than just saying, turn this lever, pull this knob, push that button. It's harder, but here's what it is. What we know about leadership is leadership involves communication. And I think by micromanaging, you're actually abdicating one of your leadership roles. And again, it gets back to this recurring theme. If you micromanage, you're a bad leader. You have to learn to be a good leader, and that involves being communicating clearly, and it's a little bit harder up front, but you get better at it. And the sixth comment I have on micromanaging is the ethical comment. There's some ethics here. There's some issues of morality. And it goes simply like this. See, the principle is we treat other people like we ourselves want to be treated. And the truth is, you don't like being micromanaged. And if someone tried to micromanage you, you would probably be very upset. And that is the exact reason that you should not micromanage other people, is because you want to treat them like you want others to treat you. At any rate, so, let me say it one last time. If you're an engineering manager who micromanages, you're bad at your job, and your employees hate you. Clue phone, it's for you. You can do better than that, and I would say the first way to start is to get Dan Pink's book called Drive, and that'll maybe give you a first step. Another one, maybe read some followership theory. At any rate, I'm Dr. Tom Ulrich. I like to talk about leadership and engineering. You can find more videos on YouTube. You can search Dr. Tom Ulrich. You can search Engineering Leadership Guy. That would be me. And you can go to my website, tomulrichconsulting.com. At any rate, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time.